You know why the Old Testament doesn't save you? And it makes such sense. See, in the Old Testament, when they followed the rules and the commandments and the rituals, they were blessed with material wealth. They were material wealth. But again, you have to go back to the beginning. God has to start from scratch because the people fell into sin. So he has to start there, that when you follow God's rule, you will get these material blessings, which is why the Israelites remind me very much in Exodus of toddlers, spiritually toddlers. So when you're dealing with that age group, you have to, they're not going to be able to understand, say, what a teenager understands, okay? So it's all this progressing along the way. And I've said it, by the end of the Old Testament, God was not satisfied. I think he knew he wouldn't be, because the heart wasn't there. It was, I'm doing this so that you give me blessings, God. You must reward me. But Jesus came because he was bringing the spiritual blessings of the heart, because that's the only part that saves you. Which is why your works in the Old Testament, that's why they didn't want to accept Jesus, some of them, obviously. Some of them, because it didn't serve them. I would say it's probably still like that. It's probably easy for the wealthy to state, no, I don't believe in Jesus. He was just a prophet. Well, you wouldn't believe in Jesus. You wouldn't want to. It doesn't serve you. I even asked AI, not that, you should always trust AI, but I'm like, dawned on me today. And I think the only way you get there is God will strip, when you truly seek God, when you seek Jesus, what will happen, I'm not saying this happens with everybody, but is that he will strip things away from you. It's part of, because this world goes after you more. The subtle persecutions they do today is worse, especially with tech. Okay, I mean, I've had everything taken, and it's like, and so I struggle, because this world says this is what success looks like. I would never be the example of what success looked like to this world, but that's why Jesus said, don't conform to this world. This world gives to Caesar while it thinks it's still given to me. Nobody should have ever taken Jesus' message when he said, give to Caesar's what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. People should have taken what he meant was that you can't have a divided loyalty here. But that doesn't work for this world, and this world has set itself up so perfectly by the wicked one to where you're almost forced into following that path, but it all pulls you away from God. And every preacher, every minister should have been, with people in their congregation saying, I need to know if you have the Holy Spirit in you. Do you surrender to God every day? Do you surrender your will to him every day? Do you keep checking in with him throughout the day, ongoing, like regular, every single day? Then if you don't, if you're not willing to do those things, then you don't want to know Jesus. Because that's what they all should have been doing, instead of being up at a podium speaking, reading the word. It's like, we need to know, because that's what's going to save you. See, the God of old and new is the same. But God knew, yeah, they like this. They like these blessings. They like when I bless them with material wealth. However, we're moving on to brighter things, because you gaining material wealth in this world doesn't mean you get the next world. No, you need to go to a greater level there. I think you only realize it too, because you if you're somebody like me, I always seek God in this world. It doesn't understand that. I mean, not that I go around talking about it, not until the last 5 years of doing videos, but they don't get seen anyway, because I'm saying the truth. So I'm gonna give a hypothetical here. What if the way God restores his kingdom will be a reset, a financial too. I mean, it'll be a reset of everything. Maybe even, I would say, a wealth transfer to those truly walking the walk. What then? Because you got your Patrick Bet-Davids, you got all these wealthy people that tell you this is how you become an entrepreneur, this is how you gain all this material wealth, okay? But at the end of the day, it's God. It's God. So nobody places God first. Nobody does. So then, when he decides, okay, I'm just a hypothetical. I'm going to reset the kingdom, just like he had to reset things by them sacrificing him. Now it will be a resetting of the whole system, which means those that have gained their material wealth, no matter what bank they hide it in, no matter, who they think is going to protect them, God will flip it all. No matter if you followed all the rules or not. If you didn't know him through Jesus, all bets are off. And most people would say, but I believe in Jesus. Do you? How much do you believe in him? Do you believe in him to surrender to him every day? To be willing to not conform to this world so much that you end up with nothing? Are you willing to do that? I don't think most people are. I mean, Jesus taught of just depending on him for your daily needs. Where the Old Testament teaches, well, if you do all the rituals right, I'll bless you with wealth. Oh, but see, it was never going to stay there. It can't, because that's not an open heart. So when God decides we're flipping the switch, you're not going to learn anything from the Patrick Bet-Davids. Now, I'm not saying they're wicked, but they conform to this world while spoke the words of, well, I believe in God. Oh, well, but it goes further than that, because if you truly believe in him, then he should be number one in your life. He should be before your kids. He should be before your spouse. He should be before everyone. That's the other thing all of the ministers should have been asking their congregations is, would you put God before everyone else? Does the God come before your infant? Does he? I think those are questions people truly need to ask themselves, and nobody does, because this world has you serving Caesar, even while you say you believe in him. So if suddenly the switch is flipped, and the only way you will gain wealth, because everything will go to zero, or there'll be a wealth transfer, let's say, because God can do whatever he wants. He can. So if that suddenly happens, and the only way, the parameters in order for you to gain both the material wealth means you have to know Jesus. And not just say you believe in him, but willing to put him before everything else in order to gain anything. And trust that. Well, that's a whole different world altogether. Something to think about.